Hey guys, what's up? Now this video is going to be another top 6 list, but this time it's going to be the top 6 movie sequels that I think surpassed the original. Okay, so first up we got Aliens. Now why I think it's better than the original is because it's kind of a completely separate genre than the original in a way, because the original was just a really intense, claustrophobic, isolated horror film that obviously, took place in outer space. But why I think this one is better is because it's more action-driven than horror-driven. And also I think Sigourney Weaver gives a stronger performance in this one than she did in the original. Because in the original, she was, for majority of the movie, she was, with the rest of the crew. And then like by the end she's the last one standing. In this it's kind of the same thing, but why I think Sigourney Weaver's performance is stronger in this one is because she kind of has to act as a mother figure and a leader to the group of Marines, and a mother figure to the little girl that they find, Newt. And I can see why she was nominated for an Oscar for this movie, because that emotional side, combined with the, badassery and the leadership side of Ripley's character, I think is why she gives a stronger performance in this movie. Coming in the list at number 5 is SpiderMan 2. Now, I know I'm not the first one to say that this is better than the original. I think it is, personally, because it takes the story in a new direction and introduces new characters and puts the old characters through challenges. Especially Peter, because like in this movie, as you probably know, he loses his powers and basically quits being Spider-Man halfway through. He's just like, you know what, I'm tired of this, basically conflicting with my personal life, and it's also really deeper and more dramatic than the first one too, and like, the actors from the first one give stronger performances in this one, I think, than they do in the original. And also, Danny Elfman's score is better. And I think what makes Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, except 3, but this one and the original so good, is because they get Spider-Man right. He's heroic, he's comedic, he's vulnerable, he's not a perfect hero. And that's why I think Andrew Garfield's 2 Spider-Man movies failed, is because they tried too hard to make Spider-Man dark. Spider-Man is not supposed to be dark and brooding like Batman. He's supposed to be light and funny. So yeah. And, this movie wasn't super dark, but it was able to, strike a balance between light and dark. And also, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, I think, is a better villain than Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, but don't get me wrong, Willem Dafoe was still awesome. But yeah. Up next, we got Toy Story 2. Now, I know a lot of people like the first one more just because, for the time, it was really revolutionary and original. Like the first all-computer animated movie. But I think, more than that, why the second one is better is just because it's a little deeper, it's funnier, it introduces a lot of new characters, you learn more about the characters from the first movie, and also I love how this movie touches on, as does the third one, with the challenges of growing up and, leaving your past behind, I guess, and also dealing with personal loss in a way, especially with Jessie, how she lost her owner, Emily, which, by the way, that flashback scene makes me cry every single time, seriously. But yeah, it's I just find it more enjoyable than the first. I don't know why, but don't get me wrong, the first one is really good. But the third one, oh my god, is super emotional. And I think it's ridiculous that they're making a fourth, but, hey, my opinion. Okay, now number 3, we got Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Now, I like this one better because A, it's a lot grander in terms of scale, B, it's more emotional. C, it has more action. And D, which I think is the most important thing, is that it divides the cast. You know, like each of the main characters kind of like go on their own separate journeys. Frodo and Sam obviously go on their own journey to Mordor, and when they meet up with Gollum, which of course he's easily the best freaking character in this movie, Gollum. He steals the whole freaking show with his inner monologue and his split personalities. Especially the scene, like, you know, when they're camping, like right before they come across Faramir, like when he's talking to himself. Oh, I love that scene so much. Sorry, I'm geeking out right here, but and also what I love about this movie is that it sets up Return of the King really well. It ends on a great cliffhanger, just like I picked for number 2 and number 1. And like, can we talk about how awesome the Battle of Helm's Deep is at the end? It's so huge and large scale. It's so epic, and that's why I think these movies, personally, are the best movie trilogy like ever, because they were filmed back to back. They won a ton of Oscars, and their acting, their set design, their costume design, the music, the location work, all the things about these original 3 movies are awesome. And by the way, I hate the Hobbit movies because they were basically a watered down version of these. But yeah, Two Towers, love it because it's bigger than Fellowship. Even though I still like Fellowship too, but I can't really get into it as much as Two Towers. Coming in number 2 is actually what my number 1 pick was for the top 6 best superhero movies, and that is The Dark Knight. Not Batman Begins or Dark Knight Rises, just Dark Knight. Because, as you know, I really love this movie, and so many other people do. And for good reason, because before Dark Knight came out, what superhero movie really was able to ground its characters so much and make them all believable, and also, like, be able to cast so many great Oscar-winning actors? And also, like I said, what other superhero movie has won Oscars, you know? And really the number 1 thing I love about this movie is how it kind of broke the conventions of, you know, traditional superhero movies. Like, the most important being the fact that, you know, in the end, the hero doesn't win, the villain does, just like my number 1 pick. But I just love how Dark Knight, like, took more risks than Batman Begins did. It introduced more characters, and, like, better characters than Batman Begins. Even though, not to trash Batman Begins is still awesome. And so is Dark Knight Rises, even though it's the most flawed. But still. And also, what I love about the trilogy itself is how all 3 movies are so different from one another, yet so good. Like, what makes Dark Knight so strong, and Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins, is they're all totally different genres of film, if you really think about it. Batman Begins is really a personal drama about one guy's life journey. Dark Knight is sort of a crime thriller, and Dark Knight Rises is a war epic. And finally, the all-time best movie sequel, in my opinion, that was better than the original, is The Empire Strikes Back. What can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said? It really set the standard for, like, you know, sequels, because, as you know, it was darker than the original, it took more risks than the original, it has the greatest plot twist in cinema history. It was able to introduce so many new characters and make them all interesting and likable, like Lando and Yoda. And it also plays out differently than the original, and puts the characters through more challenges. It divides them. They like Lord of the Rings Two Towers. Like, the main characters both, like, go on their own separate journeys. and you learn so many new things about the characters. You get a sense of like the vastness of this whole universe, of like who the Jedi once were and why they're so important to the saga as a whole. And can we all talk about just how badass, or how more badass Vader is in this movie than he was in the original? Because this movie is basically his. I mean, the dude gets way more screen time, he kills more people, and he's not sort of like a minion. You know, because in the original, technically he was like, you know, Governor Tarkin's like little henchman. But this, since, you know, Tarkin's dead at this point, you know, in the movie, you know, Vader's just like the boss, and if you screw with him, he'll freaking kill you. And that's why I think he's such a badass character, and pretty much the greatest movie villain in cinema history. But yeah, I don't really need to say more about Empire. It's as near perfect as a movie can get. Okay, that was my list of the top 6 movie sequels that surpassed the original. And by the way, I might start doing movie reviews again, because over these next few weeks there's going to be a lot of movies that are coming out that I want to see. So look forward to that. I might or might not do a review for Baby Driver, which is coming out this Friday, and then Spider-Man Homecoming. Sorry guys, I haven't done a video in a while. Like, the only reason for that though is because I have recently got a new computer for a graduation present, and it has no editing software on it, so that's why I haven't been able to get more videos to you guys. So, but this one I'll definitely get to you before the week is out. So, yeah, see you guys later. Bye.